100 personality archetypes and joins us to explain how knowing who you are can help put you on the right path to life. Welcome, Katie.
Hello,
Hi.
Katie.
Hi.
Why do so many people seek the answer to the questions, who am I and why am I here?
I think you've got to know who you are to be able to find meaning in your life. You've got to have a vision, you've got to have purpose. And I think in our society at the moment there's a soul sickness going around, and we saw it with these girls we were just talking about in the previous interview. There's a lack of identity. What's the point? And if you can't find a point, if you can't answer that question, doesn't matter how you answer it, you've got to be able to answer it for yourself to be able to step forward. Otherwise we tend to retract, pull back, and then can get quite irrational, demented thoughts, whatever.
That's kind of difficult though when you're a teenager.
It's very difficult, but this language is just amazing because kids as young as 6 understand it.
Really?
Yes, we've worked with hundreds and hundreds of kids and teenagers.
Let's talk about it. How do you do it?
Well, there's over 100 archetypes in there. We've all got at least 13, and an archetype is something like a gypsy, which is like a bohemian hippie sort of person, or a king or a queen or a trickster, which is David to a T, loves the sarcastic one-liners to bring a bit of life. So and he's a bit of a rogue, is that not right, David? A bit of a cynic?
No.
No. He's lying.
Keep going, Katie.
I'll just talk to Kim.
And a liar.
Exactly.
A liar, Becky.
Likes to spark things up. So it's really interesting. You can go through the book, like a teacher's an archetype, a scholar, a hostess, a mother, a father. We all understand this, and kids understand this. And when I was teaching them, they'd say, my dad's like that, or that's my teacher, or I've got that one. And they get it, because we all know it's in every TV show, every drama, every book you've ever read. You're all reading archetypes, like the princess, Paris Hilton. I mean, we all get that. It's not hard to understand.
Yeah. I'm finding it hard to understand. You're talking about someone within, not me. So you're saying, you know, that there's the cynic or
it's part of your archetype.
Inside.
Yeah, their personality traits.
Why isn't that just me?
Well, I've got that as well, actually, David, but we'll share some with other people. So you've got at least 13 archetypes. There's 100 there. In the book, there are 4 or 5 questions, and if you can say yes to the questions for each archetype, you've undoubtedly got that archetype. And an archetype has got shadow traits, and they're the things that we would say are our faults, our flaws. Like I'm sullen, or I'm quiet, or I withdraw, or I'm bossy, I'm controlling, I'm arrogant, whatever things. We all know that. But on the other side of the coin, there's the light characteristics. They're your strengths, they're your talents, and they name your purpose. When you put the jigsaw pieces together of all your archetypes, it's naming what your potential is and what you're here for. And when the opportunities come up, be decisive, go and do it, make a difference, and step up and do these things. Let go of being what you're not, and accept yourself and do it.
But if you've got 13, and you're looking at it going, right, well, I'm a
Man, what a conversation.
clown,
There'd be an argument going on,
I'm a clown, I'm a teacher, I'm a...
Doesn't that happen at times? Don't you have different voices saying,
yeah, but I'd rather...
this way,
but how do you know which one?
Well, you start to recognise them very quickly, and you also know when the shadow's speaking to you. And that'll be when you're self-doubting, really critical, self-rejecting, feeling inadequate. And it's not a good time to make decisions listening to that part of yourself. Always follow the decisions of the light that's hopeful, optimistic and brave. And you start to recognise that's my queen talking, that's my trickster being funny and cynical. That might undermine me, because every time I go on that path, I end up in this mess over here. And I know that now, so when I see it happening, I've got a choice. I can turn the coin over and I can do the opposite and go there. It's very empowering.
Where do they come from? Do we inherit them?
I think you inherit some, but you're actually born with them. In a way, I think it's like your soul's DNA. It's like the makeup of your personality totally names every aspect of you. Like if you love food, you love exercise, you've got a really strong parenting style about you, you love whatever, it'll name every aspect of you and your complexities and put it all together. You're born with them, but how you're nurtured, how you're raised by your parents has a huge impact on how they're expressed.
Yeah, so
it makes sense.
Well, it's interesting because you do, I mean, I think anyone who's got children will say, oh, well, I from a very early age, they were like theatrical, or they were...
Exactly. I have parents saying, I've got this really dominating little kid. I had a call on a radio show the other day, and the parent rang in with a 4-year-old saying, I have a little girl, and she went to preschool for the first time the other day, and she went up to the teacher and she had an excursion organised for the class for the next day. She was 4.
Good on you.
Exactly.
Union leader.
Exactly. I mean, you could see where this is going to go. And he's saying, what do I do with this? What happens? Well, this was a little queen. And the teacher's saying, well, I'll give her a bit of rope, but after that I'm going to have to, you know, put her down. Not put her down that way. I mean,
rein her in.
Thank you, Kim. That's a foot and mouth thing, which the tricksters do all the time. And
you'd be a good teacher. Put them down.
Exactly. It's my parenting style, but don't tell anyone. But anyway, and this little kid, that's who she is. She's a queen. But if you are too tough on her and reining her in, she'll feel like she's been executed, because every king and queen does. And she'll then start to undermine the teacher. And so you've got to learn how to work with that. And in this book, I've got parenting advice for every archetype. So when you recognise your children or kids you're teaching, we've done lots of workshops with teachers. They can look at that and go, for queens, I treat them this way. For a chameleon, I treat them this way. And it's different. And we all know that with our kids.
True, but how do you know which is the dominant one?
You can see it. It's not hard to tell. I mean, once you understand you've got to read through them. And as I say, the shortcut is good. The shortcut is have a look at the 5 questions at the top of every archetype. If you can say yes to all of them for yourself or your husband or your wife who pushes your buttons in this way all the time, you start to accept them. Just go, that's David's shadow trickster. I'll wait till he comes out of it and I'll talk to him about that later. You know, I'm not going to worry now. You just don't get into being so reactive.
So you can recognise them. You can recognise them in yourself, or you can recognise them in your children. But we're unlikely to recognise. Are we unlikely to recognise the shadow side? I mean, we're unlikely to recognise that we're shallow or self-destructive.
Oh, we do. And what I've found, because I've taught this.
I don't recognise shallowness.
Yeah, hello. That's part of your print, David. It's definitely there at times. But I mean, you're a good-hearted man. Isn't that true?
But you know the point.
Let's talk more about David.
Oh, it's so much fun.
But you know the point I'm making. Yeah. We're not likely to see that. So we're not likely to. Are we likely to do a realistic evaluation of ourselves?
Sometimes we can be a bit delusional, but you know, the sad thing I find is...
Is David delusional as well? See, this might be a problem if he ever tries to analyse.
No, underneath he knows exactly, but he just loves playing. He just loves taking the mickey out of people. He loves the game.
Stop playing with your ear.
Is that not true, David?
I can reveal that to me, right here, right now.
Read Hermes in the book, everyone. That's David.
But you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do know what you're saying, but what I was trying to get to, which I keep not getting to, is that it's the shadow that people usually are very familiar with. What we tend to do is we think, I'm going to hide my shadow traits from people. I don't want my boss to know it, my colleagues to know it, I don't want my mother-in-law to know it, da da da. And we shut it down. When we shut down, all we stop is our talents. Our light gets shut down, not the shadow. Everyone knows the shadow characteristics we have. Everyone who knows me will be able to tell you my list. They'll be able to tell you yours, yours, yours. What we do shut down is all our talents. We hide all of that. And most people say, I can read the shadow, because to have an archetype, you've got to say, I've got the light characteristics and the shadow characteristics, and they've been there throughout my life. But I can identify with the shadow, but I don't believe I've got that light. That's what people say to me, en masse.
But you have a marvellous belief in people, because you're expecting people to be really honest.
Well, most people are, and this only works if you're honest. If you're pretending, you'll read it and it's going to mean nothing to you, so forget it. Yeah. But most people are very honest, and they believe in it, even the cynical ones, because rather than me just coming in doing warm fuzzies and stuff with them and saying, you're a fabulous person, David, you know, you've got da-da-da-da-da-da, whatever, and they go, yeah, right, you don't know that I do the X, Y, Z at home. They read that I do X, Y, Z at home, and then I'm saying you've got both, and then it has credibility.
How does it help with psychotherapy?
Oh, it's a shortcut. I've been doing this in private practice for 17 years, and I've only been working with the archetypes for 5 years. This is amazing, because I meet someone, and within 5 minutes, 20 minutes, I know 4 or 5 of their dominant archetypes straight away. I get teenagers coming in saying, what courses should I do when I leave school? What careers would I be good at? I don't want to try something and fail. Gosh, what should I do? And within an hour, they know what courses they should do and what they're good at, because if you're born with them, they're there with you for the rest of your life.
And here is this mysterious map. Can you explain this to it?
Oh, this is interesting. Once you've got your archetypes, you then find out you can put your archetypes in different places on the map, which is, I'm a holistic sort of therapist. I'm interested in your body, this is your fitness, the way you are in the world. Your heart, which is all about relationships. Your relationship with yourself primarily. But then how do you relate with everyone? We've got strengths and weaknesses with all of that, and we all know about that. We know how we self-sabotage. Then we've got the way we think. Our belief systems are massive. You know how some people see the cup as half empty? Yes. Doesn't it drive you mad? Or half... I know, half full. I did mention that.
See, whereas I always go,
you're half full. You're half full, an optimist, exactly.
No, I'm half empty because I've enjoyed the first half.
Hello, yes, that's Mars. That's part of another one of his to read.
And that's the delusional part, because then you go, oh, it's all gone just about.
But Katie, you just made sense to me when we're talking about how it works in psychotherapy. it clarifies your existence and it clarifies your future, therefore.
Exactly.
So you can recognise the way to go.
Yes, it does. And so when a career opportunity comes up, it says, go for it. Or someone says, should I be doing that career? And I look at their archetypes, I go, forget it. You know, you're going to be bored. You're good at whatever your archetypes are. That's what you're innately good at. It's like your inner genius. So go and step up, be that, be brave, and let